Welcome, my fellow panelists. As I was listening to the presentations, I was really trying to understand, what is the business impact of all this. I wrote an editorial in Banking Frontiers a couple of months ago, where the title was CX is the new tech. All these 20, 30, 40 years, technology has been the source of a whole lot of improvements. But now, so technology was the driver and decision maker. Today it is customer experience. If customer experience says this, tech has to figure out how. If customer experience says, no, this is not wanted, even if tech can make it possible, it's not desirable. It's not in the priorities. So business and customer experience, these two things kind of are the drivers. So the first thing I really want to understand, if you look at the earlier definition of service, because people are wanting more of services rather than products, it used to be price and quality. But if you look at it now, it is any device, anytime, anywhere, secure, compliant, customized, personalized. So the dimensions of service are changing rapidly. So the question now for business is, how do you measure these whole variety of customer experience parameters? That is my question. Because these are kind of new. These were not made when the technology systems were built 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 years ago. And now these are becoming critical. These are becoming business differentiators. Before we get into more nitty-gritties, can you share a little bit about your experience in measuring these service points?
Good evening all. I am Vivek Jakade and I am heading analytics for IndusInd Bank. From data perspective, I can tell you that what we do to enhance customer experience is, for us, everything is revolve around the variables and what all data we have in the organization, and we try to have a 360-degree view of our data, which is on books, but on reality, of course, not 360 degree, but at least we have a view of 60-70% of data. What data is saying that, okay, from these 1000 variables, these 100 variables might be impact my customer experience. So we do some feature engineering on that points and try to see that, okay, how they are impacting our customer experience. Like if you can see in insurance or in a banking or in any sector, if you can see that no one is now to be a product centric. We all are going to a customer centric approach. Where enhancing a customer experience is more important for us than to have a new customers on board. So we try to retain our customers who are already on a board. That would be around 50-55%, and then we try to have a customer acquisition policies around the data. So what we had done in my previous organizations, like we built some application. If you can see the insurance domain, that insurance and specifically in a general insurance, if you can go, normally claim settlement takes you 25-30 days if your car or bike hits or get accidented. So in that case, how to sort it out? How customers should feel happy that, okay, it should be that should be sorted out in 5 or 6 days. So we built one application for that, where this customer need, because in India, if you can see, 90% of the general insurance is covered in the motor. So whenever accident happened, customer just upload the pic of your car, damaged part of the car, and suppose it's on a right side of a bumper, they need to click a pic and upload into the mobile app. Then the algorithms, analytical algorithms come to a picture, AI, ML algorithms, and they calculate, okay, damage is there, the part is replaceable or repairable, or if it's replaceable, then how much damage, suppose the damage is 10 centimeter deep, so they need to calculate which part is behind that. Inventory is there, it will calculate as per the parts, as per the model of the car.
Yeah. What is your learning from all this data analysis and giving the real experience to the customer?
Yeah, so basically what we try from a data analytics, that our customer should feel happy. Whatever the problem statements they are facing, we should have to try to sort it out from the data perspective. So that's the main job around that.
And what has been your experience in terms of generating better customer satisfaction using all these parameters? How much of that can you do more and more faster and real time? You want to comment on those aspects?
I'm Arnab. I look after the product and partnerships for Edelweiss. See, for me, it is, as both of them rightly pointed out, it's all about data science. In the new normal, only one thing rules. Customer is knowledgeable, he's tech savvy, he knows what he's looking for, and the fourth pillar is he has less of patience.
Right.
There are multiple options. So you need to build them all, stitch them all in one platform.
Okay.
The biggest learning which comes out in the post-pandemic era is the customer having multiple choices, customer having knowledge, results, it becomes more competitive in a global economy where the participation of India in every aspect, be it in the footprints in India or abroad, they need to develop themselves to service the customers in SLAs, which is absolutely re-engineered, and the old SLAs are dug 6 feet under the ground.
Okay.
We are talking about customer experience, which now needs to have international standards, non-compromised, and second thing, if you don't be nimble-footed, as you was talking about the API integrations, the stacks needs to be built up and put together in pieces. You need to have the flexibility to move one and put in another. Nothing can be static. Only change is constant. That is how I feel the customer service will evolve in the new era.
So, see, what I have realized for customers, they become very demanding and they're spoiled for choices now. And across industry, in banking, in insurance, in financial services, and in this point of time, a normal quality and cost parameter on service doesn't work for customers. So, you have to take a holistic service approach. Every touch point of customer you have to give the best service, right? Each experience of customer has to give a wow experience, right? And that is what we are also aspiring towards, right? And this is where data fits in. So we are using customer data across the app journeys to build personalization. So we have to give a personalized experience that will wow the customer. In a physical touch point, if customer reaches out to customer service, that's the moment of truth. So even though customer may be at fault, you have to always speak politely and give the assurance to customer that we are there for them, right? Because those experiences, they form the opinion of a customer, and that's the differentiation that a company can have, right? That at every service point, what kind of experience can you give to the customer, right? And data is the key to that. So even for a physical touchpoint, you need the data. How was the interaction with the customer? How did they rate your interaction with your customer service? At a digital touchpoint, you need what pages customer is visiting, what kind of products they are interacting, what kind of journeys they are doing across the app, right? Basis that you define your product. You make sure that customer has to do the least work. They're shown the right kind of products. They're shown the right kind of journeys.
So if I may ask Ajit, what do you see as technology providing the Gen Z level of experience? Because I think everyone is a Gen Z when it comes to customer experience. No one says I'm a 60-year-old and I can wait 5 minutes for the transaction to happen. So how do you see the evolution of technology? Not just in terms of speed, but like we mentioned that showing the right kind of products. How can it simplify for the business head of a bank to make it possible?
Very interesting.
Or an insurance or an NBFC.
Very interesting since you mentioned Gen Z and everybody wants to be a Gen Z. The joke is that as you become older, you become richer and you have a lot of money, so banks want them as your customers. But technologically, you are not very well to do. So people like me who are in their 50s increasingly become technologically challenged, whereas the banks want their business the most because they have money and they are most profitable. Coming back to, I would quote what Nalin was mentioning in his presentation, that some customer comes, he swipes the card, or he comes to e-commerce site, buys a product, or he goes to Motilal Oswal and buys a share, or he wants increased margin against his shares. He wants the result instantaneously, which is like 2 or 3 seconds in the internet age. At backend, there might be 7-8 process, each process requiring 500 milliseconds kind of time frame. Now, how does this all add up? And I think a lot of things which Vinay also mentioned, that how fast he should heal fast. So some service goes down or it should go down. So Gen Z or anybody else want that kind of service. And what Red Hat and Dynatrace does is Dynatrace helps identify those processes and find out where there can be a choke or where more resources may be needed. Or somebody like Red Hat, which is a platform company, we ensure that all these different processes, all those processes work on our software. So Vinay mentioned a lot of things on what are the developer tools we have, or how do we interoperate with so many different fintechs. All these things we ensure that they come on our site, they work on our platforms, and of course Dynatrace will tell how Dynatrace monitors this thing, and the customer gets at the end of the day seamless experience. So most of these banks work on Red Hat technology or the underlying software which they use uses Red Hat technology. Okay. And we ensure that the Gen Z or the Gen X or whatever gets the same experience because we bring all these people together technologically speaking.
Okay.
Right. If I can add to what Ajit is saying, today mean time to market is the most critical thing for any business. Mm-hmm. Okay, but easier said than done. There's a lot of complexities that goes behind. Let's take an example. Your mobile banking app, earlier you used to open it using your PIN. Today it's a facial ID recognition that the business wants the IT to provide to their end customer. There's a lot goes at the back end when it comes to just changing this feature. For you and me, it's just a feature change. But before this is delivered to the market, there's a lot of testing that happens. There's a lot of reprogramming, recoding that happens. And this is where Dynatrace and Red Hat put together can shorten this entire process, this entire cycle, and help IT deliver what business wants. And business at the end of the day would want a customer to be very happy. Because today everybody is a smart person because everybody's carrying a smartphone. Right, so this is one area where both Dynatrace and Red Hat has been adding a lot of value, irrespective they are a bank, they are an insurance company, because nobody's today is just a single product or a single offering kind of a company. They all are now becoming a marketplace. They are all now becoming a platform. So with this lot of complexities coming in, I have my databases on my data centers, whereas my front end systems are on the cloud. It could be a public cloud, it could be a private cloud. Users are using iOS, Androids, and maybe some tablets or anything. So there's a lot of complexity. And to simplify that, this is where technology champions like Red Hat and Dynatrace come into play. And we've been helping few people here sitting here. Like for example, IndusInd Bank has been a big user of Dynatrace and Red Hat together. So I mean, we can speak on length on this, but in the interest of time, this is what I can just summarize.
That's interesting. I want to now come to another business angle. Customers are also demanding innovation. And they're not waiting. For example, many things you'll wait for the car company, for example, to create a new innovation. But in financial services, they're demanding, I want this, I want this, I want this, and give it to me. So for the financial organization, there's a pressure to innovate rapidly. Because innovation is now a part of CX. How do you see that? And innovation is not something like you buy a technology and do some programming or stick it into your system. It's much more of a human-driven thing, obviously using technology. For example, Banking Frontiers does this Finovity and Technovity Awards. Finovity Awards recognizes the innovations by the financial sector. But the Technovity Awards recognizes the contribution of the technology companies to the innovations by the financial sector. So in that sense, what are you seeing as the pressures of innovation? And how are you approaching it so that you can deliver it in time, the way the customer wants it, and not be behind the competition? How does that look like internally? When you have your meetings, for example?
So, best example is a digitization, because you know that initially customer comes to a bank and then fill the large form and then fill up the documents, and then he used to open your accounts. Later on, now this once is digitization, customer don't need to come to the bank. It's on an app or to the online, they are able to do it. Same for now credit card or you can say to pay bills or for home loan or a gold loan. So from my perspective, customer wants a seamless journey, and which can happen very easily. Either they don't need any trouble to complete their journey for banks. So digitization is the best innovation which nowadays everyone, of course mobile banking, internet banking is one of the examples. And again, automation of all the retail products and getting it done for the customers like a home loan, gold loan. So
your bank was a pioneer in using video. How do you see the evolution of audio and video? These natural human interfaces making a difference in financial services.
Yeah, exactly. Initially, first we have tried with the your chat box, where our chatbots are very smart. We start interacting with them, and when it's not possible for chatbot to answer that query, it automatically transfers it to the human. Then we introduce it to the video calls, where our executive comes on the video calls and sort out your queries. So that's the best example where customer is feeling a in-person experience. He's looking out, okay, someone is there. It's not irritating like the IVR where you have a lot of queries, you are just clicking a lot of buttons and then end up with nothing. So there you are directly set with there is a one person assigned to you, and they are sorting out your queries through a video call. So of course, that's a new thing, and that is the things which, like Manoj said, that we have to bring this innovation to be in a competition.
How's innovation for Edelweiss and Motilal Oswal different from that of a leading bank?
See, I'll start off with a slightly radical statement that either next possibly less than a decade, either an NBFC will become a fintech or a fintech will become an NBFC. A bank will become a neobank or a neobank, or some banks will have their sunsetting system. Now, when we talk about Edelweiss, I wouldn't be able to comment much on industry in per se of the banking, but the digitization adoption is almost 100% given mandate is in these. And as you talk, Manoj, it's not about video KYC. It is about the entire length and journey of a customer life cycle. Depending on the risk appetite of that particular lender or that bank or NBFC or fintech, the ticket sizes vary. But till now, we have had organizations who go up till 10 crore of lending entirely paperless. You talk about a GST data, it's online. It can be with a OTP consent, it cannot be without OTP consent. You talk about banking of customers of priorly used to download or physically carry files and files of corporate bank. Now with the Bitly link, you can get it within 1 minute flat.
Okay.
Maybe 1 GB of paper size of documents. You can have a credit appraisal memo, which used to take, let's say, 1.5 days or 2 days to prepare. With the help of organizations like Karza, there are many others. I'm just dropping. Where you assimilate the entire underwriting in 2.5 hours flat. Right down from analysis of a banking, of a GST, his credit resource. So, essentially what we analyze now digitally, two things. Ability and intent. But the biggest factor you touched somewhere, and he also touched, is Gen Z. One interesting fact in India is now the millennials are the biggest lending sector. I'm sorry I'm contradicting you, but data speaks so. Since 65 to 70% of our population is 35 to 40 years, so Gen Z is now controlling the entire lending industry. And slowly new to credit, which India lacks because we don't have the social scores. Unfortunately, we don't have the social scores, which is now in the digital pipeline. From a 1% share of a new to credit for first time borrower, it is envisaged at least it will go up to 10% of a $10 billion industry.
Oh, okay.
In the coming, we are already a $3 trillion economy. By 2026, it is expected to be 7, and by the end of the decade, 2030, we should be 10 trillion. So that's how fast it is moving.
In terms of all these new to credit customers, I'm sure a lot of your digital systems will have to interact with outside parties because it's not just digital within, it's a digital. Are you finding any bottlenecks in the ecosystem, and what kind of workarounds are you finding or putting in place?
See, the major challenge in which comes is usually API integrations. When you have, they have covered it very extensively in their presentations, is how you have your data secure when you're, trading in informations through API integrations, etc., which even PSUs are, by the way, imbibing and making it a part of their culture also. Another challenge is, or an alternative workaround is, of course, an SFTP, which is BAU, which can be developed. So there's two different school of thoughts, whether we would walk all the way of digitizing and having multiple platforms talking to each other. We can have a Nucleus talking to a Qualtech talking to a Miles talking to a CRM Next, and a 360-degree view of all. Or we can have SFTP, the traditional way. So now it is too early to comment because as we know, not all things have gone right for the fintechs. The regulators are coming down strong.
Yes.
The laws are evolving. There are more rigorous checks. So I'd reserve my comments in terms of the journey definitely is going to be digital, but in what form and fashion, API would be the long-term solution, of course. But the evolved API is something yet to be seen.
Okay. And Vipul, as a products head, do you see the customer journey kind of being built, the product being built around a customer journey, or is our product still built around certain financial parameters largely? How are they working together, maybe?
So we are always trying to anticipate the unsaid needs of customers. So that's how innovation also comes in. Right. So being in broking, see, people are investing in products, they are trading, and although their only objective is to make money. So their objective is to make money, right? So once you understand they want to make money, but you also look at data. 90% of the customers, and that's a report which SEBI published, they are losing money in the trading. They are dabbling in options, they are losing money left, right, and center. And people come, they try, they get sick of trading, and then they try other forms of investment. So then our objective becomes, how can we help customers make money, right? And that's where our thinking starts. How can we help customers make money? And then I was reading something fundamental, right? A doctor studies multiple years, the engineer studies multiple years. Then a person, they come and the first day they start calling themselves as trader. They don't know ABCD of trading, but they think they know everything about market. They try something, they lose money. So then we use the core of Motilal Oswal, right? The Motilal Oswal company is built on research, and we are known for our research. So that's what we want to empower customers with. We want to tell them that, of course, you should invest in markets, but then you need to know how to invest in markets. You need to know how to research stocks, you need to know how to research options, how do we create option strategies, what are the best investment products given your life stage, and that is our focus. So we want to help customers to achieve their goals, help them to make money. And from there, that was the thought process. How do we help customers to make money? So we first launched a research app on lines of stockage, money control. So we are the first broker to do so. So that it's completely free of cost for all customers. They can come and learn about markets. They'll get all the market information analytics at one place. Right? We're taking inspiration from other industries. We're taking inspiration from Instagram, TikTok. So Gen Z, they don't want to look at long videos or read blogs. So they want to look at short reels. So we're now about to launch a new product called Bytes, where we'll show financial information in 30-second reels, so that they get some information.
Super.
So this is how we're taking inspiration from other industries also.
I think that's a very good example of how you're being customer centric, but not just making the transaction faster or easier, but understanding that the customer wants to maximize his wealth and is losing money and doing certain kind of things, and to fix that problem. If I may come to you, Faisal, what we've seen is, from the examples that he's given, that the financial industry is interacting with a lot of partners in the whole ecosystem. How do you see this whole thing becoming more customer centric across an ecosystem and not just for a financial organization? For example, I may be going to a financial organization through a retailer,
Right.
maybe through Amazon or a Chroma store or something,
Right.
or a Reliance Digital, or I may be at a hospital and maybe trying to get my insurance claim or get admission cashless. So obviously, if the system, if there is gaps in the system, then it's not going to be a seamless customer experience. How do you see this whole kind of system becoming more seamless for them and more customer centric overall?
So most important or the critical aspect is gaining visibility of what exactly the customer's journey is. What are the touch points in this entire transaction that we are looking at? Okay. If we don't have the visibility, we may not know what exactly the customer is going through or the problem is. So it is more important that we have the visibility of his journey.
So how does it happen?
Yeah. So
I mean, the partners have to work together?
absolutely.
Or?
So as we mentioned, it is the integrations of the system is very important. It could be in-house systems, it could be third-party systems. So the integration of those systems are critical, and at the same time, they should be more agile to adopt to newer technologies, because today customers are moving to newer platforms at a click of button. Today they're using iOS, tomorrow they may be moving to Android. Today they are sitting at location X, and tomorrow they would be sitting at location Y and using the same services, using different networks. So the agility, okay, and the integration is the key. But to add to it, the visibility of what exactly is happening right from the end user's device to the last click is the most important thing.
Ajit, if I may ask you, any concluding remarks?
Yeah, so I think
Hearing all these gentlemen, what is some kind of overall perspective that you have?
So just to start with your last question to Faisal and his statements. A bank is having 57 API calls running on a platform, having more than 45 partners. And it's a leading bank, private sector bank into SME lending. So 40 partners into lending, 57 calls, or API calls, all these were running on our platform. And all that platform is monitored by Dynatrace. I can't name the customer because we don't have approval. But you can guess who the customer is if you understand the sector. So we have reached up to level where our platforms are very, very flexible. We are able to accommodate more and more services. However, those services are irrational or offhand it appears to be not so rational. Yeah. So we come from an industry where to get AMFI approval, I took first time something like 3 months to get. Now it is expected to get in 3 seconds, right? So, so that kind of continuous demand comes from the customers, and the technology is scaling again and again, and it is following the pattern of Moore's law onwards, right? So when Moore started, they were saying that first they said that 5 mainframes are enough. When 10 MB computer went to NASA sent it to satellite, they said that much computing is happening.
Yeah.
When I started selling PCs, my first PC had 4 MB RAM. My phone has more memory than the servers now. So that continuous innovation is never-ending story in our IT industry, and most of you, right? So whether it is analytics, there was a time where we used to take analytics at the end of the day. The report would come at the end of the day. Today it is instantaneously required. You need analytics at the moment. So there is a constant fight happening for innovation, for giving better services to customer, and banks especially. That is a differentiating factor, right? They don't have a factory at back end. What is the customer experience will result in more business and more margins. So they would be continuously putting pressures on vendors like us and their software application vendors, their own employees to learn, and that is a self positive kind of cycle of continuous innovation happening in our industry.
Okay.
That is
I want each of you to give like a 15-second response on the issue on the challenges of regulation and compliance. How it is impacting how you plan all your customer centricity solutions, all your investments, all your business strategy, because one regulation can completely change your business strategy or your business direction.
So we are ready for the compliance because that is mandatory and we have to follow. So we don't have any other option. But what we tried that our architecture should be flexible to adapt the changes, whatever comes into from the compliance or RBI.
Okay, so architectural flexibility. Arnab?
For me, good governance is a given mandate. We need to adapt to the regulatory guidelines. And if I talk about Indian perspective of lending, lot of good things in terms of mitigating controls, proper checks and balances are being put by the government quite heavily. Right down from defaulters to the ways of lending.
Okay.
So it is across the spectrum, which is good for the economy.
I think in terms of lending, the government is an enabler actually. The regulator is an enabler rather than a barrier for so many things.
Absolutely. Even their actions on defaulters, their actions on public disclosures, this is helping the lending industry a lot.
Yes, tremendously.
People are now much more credit conscious than they were maybe 5 years ago.
Correct. Vipul, what do you see as the major regulatory?
So in our case, actually, SEBI has become very active over last few months, and there are regulations coming every month with very tight deadlines. So in fact, we had to change roadmap almost every month. So we have to, in our case, we just make sure that we take the regulation in the right spirit. So whatever it is intended to do, we implement the regulation in that way and make sure that the customer experience is not hampered. Right. So whatever we do in name of regulation, at the end of the day, customer experience should remain the same. We'll change our business strategy to align with that, but customer should not be troubled.
Ajit, what has been your experience in seeing how regulation makes how technology enables regulatory and compliance?
So with the financial regulator, we have done very interesting projects of reporting. So data projects where reporting became very easy. Typically, a bank has to send hundreds of reports. I don't remember the exact number. Now, instead of sending it manually, how it can happen system to system.
Okay.
Now that thing works on Red Hat platform.
Okay.
And as a salesperson, I'll boast for two, three seconds. One is, for example, the entire authentication Aadhaar database runs on our platform, or the income tax or sales tax works on our platform. So as an organization, we have learned whether you're paying tax or whether you're deciding your identity, whether you are the central regulator. Our platforms have extended to these different applications with our application vendors. So again, what he said was flexible, right? So flexible architecture, and we provide that flexible architecture, which has been helpful.
Okay, great. Faisal, your thoughts on Dynatrace or your organization in terms of regulation?
Yeah, so irrespective it is RBI, SEBI or IRDA, when we speak to so many organizations today, one thing is common that comes across. It's more about the cultural shift that they need to bring in, or that they need to adopt. Because what has happened is that nobody can challenge the regulations, the compliances that are coming in. There's a lot of cultural change that needs to come in, especially after the pandemic. So that's most organizations are fighting a different battle on that side as well. So so that is something that I'm sure everybody would agree to what I'm saying. It's beyond technology, but that's technology has been helping organizations understand a little more better about not only the end user, the end customer, but even their people at the end of the day, because it is important that their own employees are happy and satisfied, because that is key to achieving their goals at the end of the day.